Hello everyone! I hope that you and your loved ones are safe and healthy amidst pandemic. But before we start, let me give you some pieces of advice on how can we learn effectively to online discussions. First, bring with you your pens and notes because taking notes will be helpful, especially when we want to meditate and look back to our past lessons. Next, go to your most comfortable place and make sure you have a high-speed internet connection, the LRP for the course, headphones for lectures or discussion, eliminate distractions, and lastly, set aside time to focus. I think you're fully ready, so let's start. By the way, I am Shulammite Pablo, and I'm going to be your study buddy. So with a joyful heart, mind, and spirit, learn along with me and let's be Math2. In this video, we will talk a bunch of things about the product rule, its definition, how to remember the product rule, how to recognize when it should be used, and of course, examples applying the product rule. The product rule is one of the fundamental ways of evaluating derivatives. So it means that there is a lot of rules in evaluating derivatives. So when it should be used? It is used when we need to find the derivative of the product of two differentiable functions f and g is itself differentiable. When we say differentiable, it means that the derivative exists o walang makukuhang undefined. But before that, let's familiarize the term we will be used. The derivative of is written as d over d of x and expressed as this symbol which read as prime of and also means the derivative of. Okay, the product rule says that the derivative of a product must be calculated using the product rule if y is equal to f of x times g of x, then the derivative of f of x g of x is equal to f of x times g prime of x plus g of x times f prime of x. Sa unang tingin, parang hirap intindihin. Kaya naman, huwag mag-alala dahil papadaliin natin. So remembering the product rule, that the derivative of the two functions f of x, g of x is equal to copy the first function times the derivative of the second function plus copy the second function times the derivative of the first function. So ulitin natin. Remembering the product rule, that the derivative of the two functions f of x, g of x is equal to copy the first function times the derivative of the second function plus copy the second function times the derivative of the first function. But the easiest way to understand when this applies and how to use it is to look at some examples. Alright, so let's try. So example number 1. Find the derivative of h of x is equal to 3x minus 2x squared times 5 plus 4x. So again, h of x is equal to the first function is 3x minus 2x squared times second function is 5 plus 4x. So applying the product rule, so h prime of x is equal to copy the first function 3x minus 2x squared times the derivative of the second function 5 plus 4x and that would be 4 plus copy the second function 5 plus 4x then the derivative of the first function 3x minus 2x squared and that would be 3 minus 4x. So h prime of x is equal to, multiply natin yung 3x minus 2x squared to 4, and that would be 12x minus 8x squared. Plus, multiply natin yung 5 plus 4x sa 3 minus 4x, and that would be 15 minus 20x plus 12x minus 16x squared. Then add natin yung mga magkakapareho. So negative 8x squared plus negative 16x squared, and that would be negative 24. Then negative 20x plus 12x is equal to negative 8x plus 12x is equal to 4x, and copy 15, and then h prime of x is equal to negative 24x squared plus 4x plus 15. And that's the final answer. Let's look at another example to make sure you get the basics down. So example number 2. Find the derivative of y is equal to 3x squared sine x. As you can see, parang iisang function lang. Kaya naman, i-rewrite muna natin. So, y is equal to 3x squared sine x, and that would be 3x squared times sine x. So, applying the product rule, y prime is equal to, copy the first function, 3x squared times the derivative of the second function, and that would be cosine x, plus copy the second function times the derivative of the first function, 3x squared, and that would be 6x. So y prime is equal to 3x squared times cosine x plus sine x times 6x. So y prime is equal to 3x squared cosine x plus 6x sine x. It can be the final answer. But if possible, pwede pa nating isimplify, then let's simplify. As you can see, may common factor, and that is 3x. So, ilabas natin. So, y prime is equal to 3x times x cosine x plus 2 sine x. And that's the final answer. So, paano naman kapag given na ang mga derivatives? So, let's try. The following table lists the values of functions f and h and of their derivatives f prime and h prime for x is equal to 3. So, if x is equal to 3, f of x is 6, h of x is 0, f prime of x is 6, and h prime of x is 4. So let's evaluate derivative of f of x times h of x at x is equal to 3. So g prime of x is equal to, applying the product rule, derivative of f of x times h of x is equal to f of x times h prime of x plus h of x times f prime of x. At dahil given na ang mga values ng mga derivatives, kaya hindi na natin kailangang mag-solve. Instead, isubstitute na lang natin ang mga ito. So g prime, if x is equal to 3, mag-base tayo sa table. So f of x is 6 times h prime of x, that would be 4, plus h of x, that would be 0, and f prime of x is 6. So multiply natin, 6 times 4 plus 0 times 6. So g prime if x is 3 is equal to 24. That would be the final answer. Remember, when the derivatives is already given, no need to solve its derivative. Instead, just substitute their values. I will tell you a hint, or watch for shortcuts. And this hint is also be called, now that you know the product rule, don't go blindly applying it. To understand what that means, let's consider the following function. This is a product of x plus 4 times x plus 1. So if we want to find the derivative, we should use the product rule, right? It's true, we could use that. However, it is more work than recognizing that. Matatagalan tayo, especially kapag ang pagsagot ay may time limit. So dun tayo sa madadalian tayo. So by FOIL method, y is equal to x plus 4 times x plus 1. So y is equal to x squared plus 5x plus 4. Then by the knowledge about the power rule, we have y prime is equal to x squared plus 5x plus 4. So y prime is equal to 2x plus 5. And that's the final answer. And when we use the product rule, we will arrive at the same answer. And this is a kind of thing we want to learn to notice. There are many problems where we can save ourselves some calculus work by simplifying ahead of time. So before applying the rules, analyze the given function and watch for shortcuts. So as a summary, the product rule says that the derivative of a product of two functions f of x times g of x is equal to copy the first function times the derivative of the second function plus copy the second function times the derivative of the first function. And that's the product rule. And we're done. Again, I am your study buddy, Shulammite de la Cruz Pablo.